welcome back.
Good to be back. How are you?
What kind of accommodations do you give your female employees for menopause?
How much time do you have?
A lot. No, okay.
There's a list so primary number one, we sequester the husbands for at least 2 days a week.
For their own safety?
Yeah, to give them breathing room.
We're gonna get in trouble.
We've got liquid filled vests, automatic cooling, cools you right down.
Great.
Yeah, my wife has really gotten into perimenopause, like the topic. You know, I'm not putting her on blast.
It's a brand new thing. Everybody's talking about this word that they never used before.
I know, and I've gotten thrown into the deep end of that pool. I've learned a lot of things. I'm learning, Brandi. You know,
I only bring it up
a lot of new things
because it's all Governor Bob Ferguson in Washington cares about this week. He passed this executive order that adds new protections for women in the workplace who are going through menopause. And I guess as an employer, and you are an employer as well, don't you just look at that the same way as someone being sick or having, a medical issue? Why do we need something special for just menopause?
Look, I continue to believe that this is an extension of what you and I discussed before, meaning we're going to do things that we understand because we really don't know what to do and we don't know how to run anything properly.
So you focus on the weird offbeat stuff.
Yeah, and if you want to know why they do that, just go look at their resumes. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously an ideological problem, but and I'm not saying this in a mean, vindictive, hyperbolic way of any. These people are completely incompetent. I mean, they don't know which ends up. Bob Ferguson knows as much about business as my dog knows about accounting. I mean, the guy has only. I mean. He worked in the private sector, working as a junior attorney. Yeah, well, working as a junior attorney in a major law firm is as close to government work as you can get.
Yeah.
Right? You do nothing of substance. All you're doing is filing papers and compiling things for senior attorneys. Then he goes straight into government. I mean, just listen to the guy talk. The guy couldn't manage a lemonade stand. Look at the way he's running the state. So, of course, he's going to hit things like this that he can hold up as Pyrrhic victories and say, oh, look what we did for you. Meanwhile, we can't get people to quit defecating in front of your storefronts. We can't get people off drugs. We can't stop homeless encampments. We can't quit imploding the business or the business community inside of our state to the point where Christine Gregoire and the Seattle Times are calling him out. I mean,
yeah.
These people are a joke.
I totally agree. They focus on these very distractionary things, but I mean, he's obsessed with it. He's putting out a post every day about, look what I did for women with menopause. And look, we can have this discussion because I'm a woman. You couldn't do it maybe with two men. But I mean, the idea you brought up of some sort of liquid-filled vest, that's cool. I would wear that now, and I'm not even in menopause. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
but I digress.
I mean, I think we're on to something here.
Yeah. But, one of the reasons I bring that up is, as you point out, there's all these really critical things going on. And he's raising the pride flag. He's doing this executive order around menopause. Meanwhile, Republican State Senator Chris Gildon sent the governor a letter around the same time he's doing all this other nonsense and said, hey, gas prices are really rough. And let's be honest, that's because of Trump and the high taxes and climate policies. And he said, as governor, can you exercise your emergency powers and just halt the carbon auctions just for a short period of time to give people a little relief at the pump? Because that would automatically bring them down up to 55 cents a gallon if you just pause the Climate Commitment Act auctions that are increasing gas prices. He said no, obviously. And here's his response. He said, the high gas prices caused by President Trump's war in Iran do not constitute an emergency that allows the governor to exercise his extraordinary emergency powers, which when I read that, and it says, he goes on to say, a more constructive way to address the dramatic recent increase in gas prices would be to contact the man responsible for that increase.
Oh my God.
President Trump. So
meanwhile, people in the Midwest are paying $1 to $1.20 in certain areas less than we are simply due to taxes. If that guy's mouth is moving, he is a lying piece of trash.
Yeah.
I'm convinced the guy doesn't even tell his kids the truth. Everything that comes out of his mouth is either a complete non sequitur. The guy's an idiot. He's a low IQ idiot. I don't care what anybody says. And he just spews trash and nonsense all the time. And it's obfuscation. Look over here. Meanwhile, I'm lying through my teeth to you. I was interviewed by a reporter at the Olympian the other day. And she said, when Governor Ferguson said recently that he will veto any measure that lowers the minimum, the $1 million threshold for taxes. And I go, you mean sort of like he swore not to raise taxes prior to being government?
Yeah. Well, and look, with this whole tax gas thing. So we have acknowledged, because we're not blindly loyal to a political party, that yes, of course, gas prices are high right now because of what's happening in Iran. A little higher here because of the other factors. But my thing is, like, Trump took ownership of it. He said, yeah, it's going to hurt for a little bit. J.D. Vance said the same thing. This is why you're seeing this. They didn't try to totally gaslight the American public and say, no, that's some other reason. Unlike Governor Jay Inslee in Washington, when he said, the Climate Commitment Act won't raise gas prices, and if it does, it'll be pennies. And now, even in his statement, Governor Ferguson, he could acknowledge that, yes, we understand and recognize that the cost is very high, and there's a couple factors there. Part of it is Iran, part of it's this, but I'm just not going to do this. But instead, he blames the entire thing on Donald Trump. He's choosing his disdain for Donald Trump and Republicans before giving people some moderate relief at the gas pump, because it's a midterm year and he wants people to suffer maximum pain at the gas pump, and he wants them to blame Donald Trump. So if he gives a little relief by pausing the CCA, all of a sudden that pressure and that pain threshold comes down for voters. So it is putting politics before people, literally, and it's so transparent to me.
Of course it is. And that's why I look at people and I go, guys, when a politician, especially in a campaign promise, right? Because I hate it, but we all know that there are all kinds of circumstances in which politicians cannot tell you exactly what's going on, right? And it's frustrating as is, I get that. But when you're making a campaign promise, and one that was, remember, a lot of the defenders of Bob Ferguson dismissed people like us and our concerns because they went, he's not going to raise tax. He promised. They signed a bill, right? That was clearly a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I wish that voters in this state would do, like you and I have said 100 times, I don't expect them to migrate to my ideology. I don't expect them to swing hard right. I don't expect them to become independents. But when a politician does that to you, he's showing his disdain for the voter.
Yeah.
He's showing you how little he respects your intelligence, your IQ, and your ability to read between the lines. And a guy like that is dangerous, because a guy like that, and then he follows it up by torching the Constitution and passing the income tax. He has zero respect for you, the state of law, the truth, anything. He doesn't respect anything other than his nonsensical ideology and his endless desire and will to power. That's all he cares about. And the fact that people will not wake up to that in this state, and I think they are to a degree. But you saw the same. Here's the other part of it. This is why we have to get ideologues out of public office, period. Right? Like, I listened to Katie Wilson the other night sitting there, and I believe her. I think that she is a true believer, that she truly believes in the Marxist nonsense that she spouts. And I listened to her legitimately argue that high home prices are the cause of homelessness. Yes. And I go, you know what? You're right. I know so many families of 5 that couldn't make rent. And so they said, to hell with it. We're hitting the streets and we're picking up fentanyl.
Yeah.
Right. If you go down there and you talk to the people down in Seattle, that's the man on the street interview you're going to get, right? Just a bunch of working people that just got priced out of the neighborhood.
Yeah. And then they just automatically, I'm homeless now, I got to use the Fetty.
Right. And so here's the thing that I've realized, though. When you have an ideology that's is intellectually bankrupt as socialism, because it's failed the same way every single time it's tried, the only way you can believe that is when you look through a prism and you will not look through anything else. Mm-hmm. Meaning, she sees every societal problem as profit driven with an evil capitalist hiding behind a corner somewhere, right? That's the cause of every single problem. And when you see the world that way, it is impossible for you to diagnose. Where I'm sitting there going, look, I agree with you. We could do things to lower home prices. We could address some of those things, but high home, and they go, yeah, why do all the richest cities have the biggest homeless problem? And I go, because they're the biggest batch of idiots that pass a bunch of stuff that get people to move here all over the country so they can get stoned on a street corner and not get in trouble.
Yes, and they passed the overregulation that makes the cost of homes very expensive. I mean, it's just, that's the common denominator. Hold the Katie Wilson thought. Let's do some watchdogging. So Katie Wilson was doing this interview that you mentioned for Civic Cocktail, and the interviewer was Hannah Kim, my friend at Fox 13. And so you'll remember, of course, that Katie Wilson, days after she won the election for mayor, she's out standing with the Starbucks union, telling people basically that she hates Starbucks and won't drink it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fast forward, she's been pretty roundly criticized nationally for those comments, for the waving goodbye to rich people comments. So Hannah Kim asked her if she regrets that past statement about Starbucks. Here's what she said.
Let's start with Starbucks. Do you still support a boycott of Starbucks?
I had the pleasure of visiting the Pike Place Market Starbucks a little while ago, and I ordered I think it was a blueberry muffin latte. That was like a staff creation. So
that's a
I
no.
guess I guess I broke my boycott.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you want me to say about that?
So you support them?
I absolutely support unions, and I
So
support
that question
workers,
from the
and
crowd.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my good gravy. I mean, what do you even say to that? And that's like it is almost like a softball. She can say, like a professional person, look, I shouldn't have said that. I support unions, but yeah, I just had a Starbucks the other day. I don't think people should boycott Starbucks. Instead, she awkwardly looks at her handlers like, oh, what do I do? What do I say?
Or how about we ask ourselves a simple question? If you have an ideology that disallows you to answer questions plainly, straightly, maybe you should examine your ideology, right? Because I'm still waiting for you to explain to me the societal dividends we get for Starbucks leaving. Wait, what are those? Can somebody explain that to me?
Yeah.
And so you really support unions? Great. What unions are going to step in and fill the $22 an hour jobs that Starbucks just took away because you basically pushed them out of the city?
Well, socialist state lawmaker Sean Scott, remember, he told me in our interview that he thought that a collective could take over and do what Amazon does, and it wouldn't be such a big deal if Amazon left, because like people could form a collective and replace Amazon.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could also get a pack of flying dogs to do the delivery service for us, and we could have the other thing we could do is start a unicorn ranch. I love this talk. We are going to talk about so this is where we're at, okay? That serious political ideas are creating things that have never worked, have never been formed, that nobody knows what they mean, a collective to replace one of the most dominant retailer that is vertically integrated in the history of mankind. Like what here and oh God, it gets so frustrating, right? Because really what all this is a failure of the education system.
Yeah.
If these people knew how stupid they sound and how ignorant they sound, hey, like, again, Sean, we're going to form, what even is that? What are you even talking about? Right?
Seizing the means of production. Seizing the means of production, Zach.
It failed. We tried that experiment. And here's what happened. Tens of millions of people starved to death. Okay, we tried it. We didn't get rid of it because evil capitalists thought it was too restrictive. We got rid of it because hundreds of millions of people died. That's why we got rid of it. Oh my God.
There's no making sense of it. It's like, oh, a collective could replace Amazon if, we just seized all of Amazon's warehouses, vehicles, planes,
'Cause you'd run
everything by force. Then we could totally do it.
Let's take you down to Venezuela and show you how that worked in the oil fields. Let's take you to Cuba. Maybe your idea is for all of us to drive 1955 Chevrolets around town too. It's so stupid. And the fact that people that consider themselves erudite and sophisticated listen to this garbage. I mean, we
can complain and blame them and be like, wow, they're so incompetent. They got elected fair and square. Well, at least as fair and square as we know. And there are a lot of people in the state of Washington who just listen to what they say. I mean, when Katie Wilson gave her infamous bye to millionaires,
I know.
all the sheeple in the crowd like, oh, yes, you're so brave. That's what we're up against. That's terrifying.
And look, I'm in this fight. I'm committed to it. But there are days where I sit there and I'm like, Like let them have what they want, man.
I know.
Like part of me sits there and goes, and I'm in it to the end, but part of me sits there and goes, let these idiots, they voted for them, let them have it. They'll burn the place down. We'll come back in 8 to 10 years and build it back up again. Just because the most infuriating part is going through social media and listen to the people that support them. And regardless of how many times the money gets wasted, no results, nothing gets better, everything gets worse, they just keep going, yeah, we want more.
Yeah.
It's just hit me again, Ike.
Yeah, it's outrageous. And I mean, I was in Idaho this past weekend, and I gotta say, it just felt like people were living their lives without constantly being worried about what the government was gonna do to them next. And it just seemed like a really nice thing, but I'm here to fight as well. All right, Zach Abraham, thank you so much.